Hey everybody, welcome to Miscast Commentary, a Coming Attractions episode. I am Joe Finley. Todd Tebow, the Sailor Murray, was supposed to be with us today, but last minute his schedule changed and he wasn't able to dial in. So it's just us for the day, but that's okay. It means a shorter episode. I don't know if that's something you're clamoring for, but you're getting it, so congratulations. Not a lot to talk about today, but some pretty big things to talk about. First thing, obviously, Richard Donner passed away, and to say that he left a lasting legacy would be an understatement, especially for people who kind of grew up in the time that I did. The Goonies is, it's canon for people my age. It was such a huge deal. It was such a big deal to me when I showed the kids the movie for the first time. I met Joe Pantoliano at a Comic-Con, and that was cool. And Robert Davi was right next to him. I've told that story before in previous episodes. We won't get into it again. But, it's crazy, though. Like, think of the stuff that he did. The Omen, Lethal Weapon, I'm not going to Scrooged. I'm not going to get into everything. Obviously, he was also a big executive producer of things, too. Things like Any Given Sunday and the Wolverine movies, all sorts of stuff. But, yeah, he's going to be greatly missed. I mean, we're kind of at that time, I guess, that, these people are going to start leaving us, not in rapid succession, hopefully, but it's bound to happen, and these are people who've had pretty big impacts on, I don't know, I don't want to say our lives specifically, but our imaginations would be accurate. So, my best to his family, Lauren Schiller Donner, and everybody who worked with him. I've been seeing just an outpouring of people with nothing but nice things, oh my god. With nothing but nice things to say about him, and that's hard. Sorry to give the bummer stuff right off the top of the show, but it was kind of the most important, and I just wanted to kind of get that out there, and he'll be greatly missed. It's very sad. I've got some Star Wars news for you to kind of bring it back up. People who've not heard about it yet, Disney Plus is releasing Star Wars Visions. It's a compilation of anime, I'm assuming shorts, that are going to be released by different Japanese companies, and it's exciting. I got the sneak peek. It's like a 3-minute video. You can look it up. I'll see if I can post it online after. But it's looking really cool. It gives me the vibe of the Animatrix when that came out, to just see people who were not involved in telling the original stories kind of, getting to make, not to minimize what they're doing, but it's kind of like a fan film, which I actually love. There's nothing that makes me happier than knowing that somebody who loves something is going to be the next person to make it. That's why, I still stand strong with saying that The Force Awakens was really good and stuff like that, and I'll say the same thing about Rise of Skywalker, too. I'll stand Rise of Skywalker. I thought Force Awakens was better, but that's neither here nor there. But to get to see these people make these movies in all these different cool styles, and get to see these just new stories. I love to hear new Star Wars stories. I used to go, hunting for the old radio plays and stuff like that, and I've got all of them, and they're so fun to listen to because there were stories I didn't know because I didn't see a specific, legacy book, or I didn't see a specific comic or play a specific role-playing game or something like that. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see what these guys see. It's coming out fairly soon. I didn't see the exact date, but just something more to look forward to. More Star Wars. I can't get enough. And speaking of which, got a little bit of news about the Patty Jenkins-led Rogue Squadron. It's not going into production or anything right now, but they've just kind of confirmed that they were kind of deep into it as they made that announcement a few months back. How long was it? Time doesn't even exist anymore, does it? I don't know. Was it a few months back? Was it 7 years ago? who knows? But the main point she was making is that they have been well underway and they're on schedule and they've got a script almost finished, and then they're going to crew up and cast up and everything's hunky-dory. And I'm really excited about that one because, again, I feel, especially because now Dave Filoni is on as a more creative role in the Star Wars universe as a whole, that we're going to see more things skewing towards the quality of The Mandalorian, where you have a different tone outside of the Star Wars Skywalker saga. Everything can be its own thing is kind of what I'm getting at. And I'm excited about that. And, you know, there's so many things coming up with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and hopefully more Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and more movies to come. And, you know, God knows, I know I can't get enough. And I don't know, it gives me hope, a new hope. See what I did? Now, to go from hope to someone who's hopeless, I read that interview with Stephen Dorff about the Black Widow and how he was... I don't even really get what he was getting at. Like, I know he's being all artist about everything and just being like, oh, you know, this is Marvel movies, it's video games, this isn't art. It feels like actors are just taking their turn being the asshole at the helm of this ship. I'm sorry that your, you know, like, art house film isn't going to be the #1 movie in the world. It wasn't ever going to be the #1 movie in the world. The problem now isn't with the movies that are coming out. It's the fact that the theater-going experience, now that it's finally opening too, we'll get into that in a minute. Now that it's finally opening back up to people, I think that there's going to be a rush of people going back, going, oh man, I really missed the movies. But prior to the quarantine, people really kind of had to, you know, put a value on a movie as to whether or not it was worth spending, you know, upwards of $50, depending on, you know, how many people you're taking or whatever, to go see a movie. And I think that's a very valid concern. And movies like the ones that Stephen Dorff are doing aren't going to go really high on that list. You know, you might catch a couple of film festivals or something like that, and all the more power to you. I don't want you to be not successful. But I don't know why you're shitting on people like, you know, the people who made Black Widow, of all things. It doesn't matter. I think that the problem is that people, and Scorsese did this and other actors have done this, is that they see less people going to the theater in a general sense, but a lot of people going to see certain movies, and they blame those movies like it's their fault that people aren't going to see everything else, or they're not going to see it as much. And it's not their fault, you know, they have given a value to the moviegoer that, you know, makes it worth, I have to go see this in the theater. It's big, it's bright, it's loud, it's beautiful. And that really is all there is to it, in my opinion anyways. Just one man's opinion. I feel Todd would share this opinion, but he's not here. We'll talk about this with him another time, though, I'm sure. But speaking of Black Widow, I'm finally getting to go to a movie. Depending on when you're listening to this, it's coming out on Friday. I'm recording it on Tuesday. I will have gone to see the Black Widow. I think I'm going to come right home and I'll probably shoot a review for it. So that might already be up by the time you're seeing this. Who knows? But our theaters at least in my province, aren't open yet. They'll be open hopefully next month, but the drive-ins are open. And so we've been looking up the combos of movies, and there hasn't been anything really good to bring the family now, because there's not a lot of movies out in general right now. They've been putting a lot of like retro films and stuff like that, and we took advantage of that last time they did this, and I was hoping that, you know, something like that would come along, at least until some movies that we wanted to see would come out together, you know, again, to take the whole family and stuff like that. The only things they had recently, God, what movie? It was like Peter Rabbit or something with like, I don't know. I don't even remember what else it was. I know E.T.'s playing with Boss Baby 2 right now. And I was just like, ugh, please don't make me go see that. Don't make that be the first movie experience I have going back. I'll be so bummed out. I love E.T., don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see something new, something big. I almost went by myself to the drive-in theater to watch. It was Fast 9 and the Forever Purge. Just to see some loud things coming at me for a little bit. But our patience has been rewarded, and Black Widow and Cruella are playing back to back, 2 movies we've not seen yet because I didn't want to pay that $35, advanced feature on Disney. I understand what they're doing with that, and I understand what, some of the other movie theater kind of streaming things, like we have the Cineplex store here in Canada. I'm sure you guys have similar things elsewhere, but it's just they're charging this big amount, and it's not even an unreasonable amount. It's like, hey, if you were going to the movies, you'd pay roughly this much, maybe a little bit less for everybody to go. But the problem is we're not then getting the movie experience in return for that dollar. So it just feels like a ripoff. Now, I've got a projector and all that kind of stuff, so I mean, I can do a little bit of that. I've got surround sound and all that, but it's not the same as getting rattled by a big ass theater. So when you're asking, almost the same amount of money, going, oh, this is the same as going to the theater, what they're really saying is, no, it's this or nothing. So choose. So to be able to go for the price of one, I think it's what, $12 for me to go and see 2 movies on Friday night. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited. And I wasn't super excited about going to see Cruella, but what the hell? Let's dial it in. Let's do it, folks. But enough about me. What movie are we doing next week in our Summer of Sequels? Well, let me tell you. We are revisiting another series, obviously. Sequels appear in series. But, one of our favorites, and we realized, much like Back to the Future 2, when we did that we had waited a really long time to do the second movie. And it was just, this happens with us because we have these written down. Legit, like we don't schedule too far out usually, but we have them all kind of written down on hey, here's the movies we need to do, as we move forward. And then we'll look at that list, or sometimes we'll not look at the list and just have an idea of, oh man, I saw this was on TV and I thought we should do it, or something timely happens and then we have to do that, like Richard Donner passing. Usually we would, follow that up with something Richard Donner-esque, which we may still. I'll never tell, but you'll see. But, it's those kind of things end up getting in the way, and then it just kind of slips away for a little while, and then you go back and you're like, oh man, yeah, we still haven't done this. So this is what we're doing. It's a favorite. It's not my favorite in the series, but it is a lot of people's favorite in this series. It's definitely a weird one, and it's a fun one. It's an adventure. It's a romp. It's all the good things I could say about it. It's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, baby. Let us have a look at the trailer.
The old legend of the Shankara stones. The villager's sacred rock was taken.
Village stories, Dr. Jones.
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
Come on!
I don't want to go! You know how to fly, don't you?
No, do you?
You call him Dr. Joe.
go nuts. He's crazy.
I thought archaeologists were always funny little men searching for their mummies.
Mummies.
There you have it. Oh, man. Well, bad news for me is when we finally get to the point where we can monetize this channel, we probably won't be able to monetize this video because of that theme song. But it's worth it because I love to hear it. I love to play it for people. And that's where we're at. So that is what we're doing next week. Our summer of sequels continues on. We've got more and more fun movies for you. Not just all big blockbustery ones, because I know we did Back to the Future, and, well, I guess, you know, you put Bill and Ted where you will. But there's going to be some interesting entries in our Summer of Sequels yet to come. So check that out. Anyways, for our YouTube viewers, I want to thank you guys so much for the support. We've been getting a lot more views lately, and some subscribers have been pouring in, and I've been really happy to see that. If you do watch on here, I encourage you to click like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and you'll see some fun stuff. We're exclusively shooting in video now on YouTube. I know a lot of our older videos are just like a still with like a crawl and then our audio behind it. That was only because we wanted to have just a presence on YouTube, and we weren't shooting on video yet. Now we've upped our game a little bit. We've got a nicer camera. We got some more lighting, and we got a mobile setup so we can set ourselves up wherever we want. And yeah, so anyways, I'm really grateful to everybody who has liked our videos and subscribed to the channel and all of that. And if you're listening to this in an audio medium, come check us out. And we're not disgusting in any way. So it's a fun way to experience this because it's kind of like a reaction video at the same time as it's everything else. When we resume our Binge Watchers on the Wall, we'll also be doing that exclusively in video as well. Especially that one will be a little more important too, because remember, Todd hasn't seen the show. And there's some episodes coming up. Spoiler alert, the Red Wedding's coming up. Todd doesn't listen to the show when he's not on it, so I know we're safe. The Red Wedding's coming up, and you'll want to see his face for that, because he's not going to see that shit coming. But this is as good a place as any to leave you. I thank you all again for listening and watching and doing all those wonderful things. And until next week with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, we're going to call it peace.
This has been Miscast Commentary with your hosts, Joe Finley and Todd Murray. Executive producer, Joe Finley. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Visit www.miscastcommentary.com for all news related to the podcast. Miscast Commentary is a Miscast Media production.